This is the King of Average.
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 Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the King of Average podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the King of Average podcast. This one's on some super casual vibes. Honestly, I let my hair out.
Heck yes, dude. I love it. Like, we didn't even introduce ourselves, dude, because we don't need an introduction.
I knew something was missing, but it just didn't faze me. I was like, vibes, bro. Hello.
And we're just paying attention, cuz.
We're just in the mix.
Dude,
I've low-key been sitting here for an hour already. So it's like my booty cheeks are well endowed with the chair. So like I've peed myself 4 times.
You want to like get up and just show the viewers?
I mean, if they had like if they could like smell it. Anyway, so yeah, today's gonna be super casual vibes. That was way too casual.
That was crazy, bro.
No, so the thing that I had in mind is I'm curious. What did you do this past weekend? Because you were busy.
I was definitely busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were like, because you were telling like the group chat, you were just like, yo, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm out. Like, don't count me in on anything.
True.
So it's like, what's the vibe?
Dude, the vibe was a flight.
Oh, this happened this past weekend?
Yeah.
End of conversation. We're moving on. How was it? Was it good?
That was very good.
It was good. Okay,
good.
Perfect. Alhamdulillah. I'm glad to hear.
So that was my weekend. How was your weekend, bro?
Well, my weekend was actually... It was good. It was good, bro. It was good. What was I even doing? I don't think I got a freaking vision, bro. Oh my God. Let me tell you about my weekend, dude. Friday we filmed Mogul Insider, and we decided to do 2 episodes in one day.
Heck yeah.
Right? It was gangster, right? It was cool. And the first episode was really chill. We had like some topics to cover, The first episode was like, oh, what to do if you feel like you're low on Iman, So it was a good conversation. It was nice and productive. There was a lot of moments where I was just like, yo, you gotta be firm, blah, 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 you know how I talk, right? But then there was, and then we like took a break. And then we started recording the second episode. And the first question is, should a man cook and clean, right? Should the husband cook and clean? And then the second question of that second episode was, should a man have a second wife?
Okay.
Right?
Both valid questions.
I think it was really, really perfect how like the sun had set, and like as we got into the second episode, the whole aura started to darken and dimmen. I don't know if dimmen's a word, but it started to get dimmer.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, dude, I just went in.
Yeah.
I just went off on it.
As it got dimmer, your mind did too.
Yeah. No, like it legit, like I'm not saying the conversation got dark, but it just got tense, dude. It got tense. You felt it.
So what was your reaction? Like, what was your answer?
So the main thing about the first question, should men
cook and clean? Yes.
I went through a very brief explanation about how, alhamdulillah, I had the opportunity with a couple of close friends to study directly under Sheikh, right? A Sheikh of ours, right? Who at this point has passed away. Allah yarhamu. You know who he is. We've talked about him multiple times, right? And what were we studying? We were literally studying Sharia, right? We're literally studying Sharia law under this Sheikh. It was the Sharia based on the Shafi'i madhab, right? So we're literally studying the ways of life that Islam teaches, right? And so within the book, there are basically the rules, the laws that apply to the man and the woman in the relationship of marriage, right? What are his responsibilities? What are her responsibilities? And as I'm explaining all this, I came to remember the idea that when you look at what Allah expects of the man in a relationship, it literally just goes down this list. And then it's cut off and it goes to the next subject. And so we were sitting there and we're like, what about the expectations of a woman in the relationship? You know what I mean? Because when you go down the list for men, it's like, oh, they're expected to provide shelter, provide food, clothing. They're supposed to even provide how that food is prepared and how the home is cleaned and all the little details through and about.
Okay, but those last two things, how the food's prepared, basically the vegetables, the ingredients, the fire, you know what I'm saying, like the stove, the pots, the pans,
For
everything.
for the lack of, or in order to avoid any confusion,
Yeah.
you are expected as the husband to not just bring food, but somehow figure out how that food is edible. So yes, you're expected to cook the food.
Obviously, I'm Medicaid meth head all the way, bro. All the way.
So listen.
I do it like my name.
So listen. It lists out all these responsibilities of the male, right?
Yeah.
And then it cuts off and it goes to the next subject, and we're like,
It's interesting, bro.
Yo, what happened to the woman's responsibilities?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the sheikh looks at us and he goes, like, what? Tell me, what do you think the woman's responsibilities are?
He's a gangster shit. What'd you say?
He's a gangster shit.
Oh,
Straight OG Ali Yarhamu. And so, you know, I'm explaining my answer from you know, the podcast episode from that other recording. But basically he goes, tell me, what do you think a woman's responsibilities are? And we're like,
cooking.
what about
take
cooking?
care of
What about
kids.
cooking and cleaning?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he goes, nope. What about this and that? Nope. And I thought I was the wiser, you know? I look at him like, our responsibility is to raise the children. He looks at me dead in the eye, he goes, nope. That's also the responsibility of the man. So then we all were dumbfounded. We go, Sheikh, what's the responsibility of a woman in marriage? To sleep with her husband. Bro, I'm telling you, we were all just like we were confused.
Yeah.
Dumbfounded, couldn't even put it into words, bro.
Where are the feminists at? Where are the feminists at?
You know what I'm saying?
Where are they at?
See, you know, it's kind of interesting though. It is a double-edged sword. Because like someone's gonna listen to this and they're gonna be like,
They're
gonna be like
just sex slaves to Islam,
right.
And
They're gonna be
fetish, you know.
Right. They're gonna be like, oh, you don't believe that we're supposed to cook or clean or blah 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 blah.
They're
like,
saying the same thing. They're like, oh, you expect me to cook and clean and stuff like that.
Right.
Now
it's
you're
like,
saying that?
It's like, well, you're saying that, you know, it's not my duty to cook and clean. It's like, yeah, congratulations, but you know,
yeah, but in America,
the other side of that, you need to fulfill your responsibility.
But across religion, across cultures, across everything, when you get married to a person, when you're married,
yeah,
what's expected is sex.
100%.
So it's nothing like, oh my God, whoa, you Muslims are wild.
Right, 100%. But this is where you kind of like, you have to go into the details of what we see around us. Why are people miserable in their marriages? Why are marriages sexless?
That's sad.
Because who's the gatekeeper?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why do you think there are ahadith talking about the angels cursing women, right?
Yeah.
Whose husbands request them to come to bed and they deny that request. And the angels curse them all night. Why do you think that's a thing?
Yeah.
Why? Connect all the dots. You know what I mean? And like, you know, I don't really care to go into the details of like, you know, why women do this, right? Why they decide to gatekeep, why they don't fulfill that responsibility. I don't care to get into it.
I can think of a couple.
Like what?
Arguments. I
like
get
it's petty reasons, right? It's petty reasons.
It could be like you're I mean, besides the obvious health reasons,
okay, well,
right? Besides that.
Right, of course.
Say like she's completely fine. She doesn't have this, she doesn't have that.
Right, she's not on her period.
She's not on her period.
Right.
Whatever. She doesn't have any like physical anything going on with her, any illness.
I get it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Whatever. Pettiness, yes. Major arguments, small arguments, being annoyed with the person, not having the energy, not having the drive, right? being very self-conscious about herself, thinking that she's not sexy enough, that she's not beautiful enough, which I know it's not necessarily, it's not necessarily the guy's problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's really internal, but really kind of it is the guy's problem.
So, I mean, here's the thing. Here's what's interesting. Because the only ones that were valid that you just mentioned that I would see as valid
What's that burp?
is like, what was that burp? That's hilarious. You said tired, not in the mood, doesn't have the drive.
Yeah.
Because sometimes genuinely, she's not in the mood.
That's both people.
Right? That's both people,
Yeah.
right? Okay. How many times do you wake up every morning before you go to work and you're not in the mood? As a man.
Yeah.
How many times do you have a bill to pay that you're just not in the mood to pay? You don't want to pay it.
Mm.
You don't have the drive to get up and yell and scream and hustle and work with your hands and move your body and sweat and get under the hot. I'm not in the mood. I don't have the desire to do that right now.
Yeah.
But that's still my responsibility, isn't it?
I get what you're trying to say, but I think the West in general, or modern day society, has just romanticized marriage too much.
You know, okay, so listen, if they've romanticized marriage so much, why are people miserable?
Think about it.
Why are
the
people
expectations are off, bro?
That's
Yeah,
insane, like-
freaking everyone that's want to be Prince Charming and Cinderella, bro.
Right.
That's BS.
I understand, but it's
so
like,
dumb, bro. Imagine this. In Islam, it's very simple.
Mhm.
As a man, right? I'm supposed to take care and protect, provide shelter, food, potentially cook according to the Shafi madhab.
And-
Madhab, I'm sorry. Madhab. But
and clean. Like, you literally have all the responsibility.
take care of the children as well, and
Your job to raise them.
okay, marriage. That's why they have a marriage contract.
Right.
Okay, you have other contracts come in life. You have a contract, dude. Here are all of my obligations. Here are all my job responsibilities, my duties as a man, as a husband.
Right.
In return, what I ask for you, from according to what you said,
Right.
is
Fulfill this one necessity that I have.
a major necessity.
Fulfill my needs.
That's it.
And you know what the crazy part is? We're going to say the list goes on for the men's expectations, what Allah expects us to fulfill.
Yeah.
If we slack in any of those, guess what's going to happen? It's held against us on the day of judgment.
Yeah.
If she fulfills any of those,
Extra
of
credit.
your responsibilities, she's just rewarded extra.
MashaAllah.
I mean, mashallah, bro. Listen, there's no hate. It doesn't upset me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It doesn't upset me. Because for all intents and purposes, I don't see myself ever getting to a point in my life where I've decided I want to stop working. You know what I mean? I love the hustle and bustle. I love to be able to get up and like, you know, lead a team or be able to like go far and wide just to bring home money. You know what I mean? I love the idea of learning new things, implementing it to the business, watching it grow.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that element of the, you know, the entrepreneur, you know, fight, we'll call it, right? So for all intents and purposes, if I have the capability, I would love to have a maid constantly, just like on an either daily basis, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever the case is, right? Somebody cleans up the house. Babe, you just sit down. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to go for a run? Absolutely. Go to the gym. Cool. No problem. You know what I mean? You want to do your flipping, you know, PTA stuff for the kids at school, whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever other, you want to start a useless business. Cool. I'm all for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm all for it, you know? You don't want to cook? No problem, dude. We'll flip in, you know, a chef will come drop off food every single, like once a day. Maybe we'll switch it up. One day of the week, you cook up something cultural. One day of the week, I'm chefing it on the grill. You know what I mean? Like, for all intents and purposes, I would like to fulfill those duties by, you know, allocating that responsibility and having that done for us. No, for all, like I said, what I'm saying is for all intents and purposes,
Yeah.
it would not be allocated towards my wife.
Yeah.
As long as I have the means.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
But what happens if you
But
don't?
until I have the means, it's no, I mean, even if I had the means, when I'm looking for a spouse, I'm looking for a team player.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Imagine you wake up in the morning, right? Your family's a team. Your family's a team. Imagine you wake up in the morning and, you know, your brother just decides this month he's not gonna pay his part of the bills, right? Your sister decides, you know, whatever, she's just gonna eat all the food and it's just like, you know, whatever, no stress, no hassle, whatever, right? And so you guys are falling short on this, falling short on that. You have to pick up the slack for them. And you're sitting there like, yo, I'm holding up my end of the bargain for this team.
Yeah.
The least I expect is that you guys reciprocate. You know what I'm saying? Just hold up your end of the bargain. Carry your weight. That's all we're asking. You know what I'm saying? And so when I'm looking for a partner, I'm looking for a team player. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to get up and I'm going to go out and I'm going to go through the stresses of life to make sure there's a roof above your head, to make sure you're clothed, to make sure you're well fed, to make sure you live a stress-free life,
Yeah.
I'd like to come home to a warm meal. You know what I'm saying? I would like to finish my food and not stress about, you need to get up and wash it and blah, blah. I'll take out the trash, bro. I'll take out the trash. You know what I mean? Not a problem. Whatever. But it's like, if you're going to sit around at home all day doing nothing, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
From your standards. From your perspective.
From my perspective.
Yeah.
Because flip it around. Imagine me as a man. I wake up and I just don't do anything all day. I start playing video games. I shower later in the day, brushing my hair for an hour. You know what I mean? And then, you know, my brother or my sister, they come home from work all day and they're like, what's up, dude? And I'm like, somebody's got to do these dishes. What do you mean somebody's got to do these dishes? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way in hell I would be allowed to perform that way in my life.
I had a person close to me, right, that basically said that the woman, whenever she wears the hijab, it's a form of bondage. Bondage, bro. That it's against her will, that Yadi, she's basically tied up and she's chained. And she's just my little slave, and I'm dragging her along.
You know, most girls like that. Girls like that. No, because you're saying it, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like,
why am I getting a semi, bro? There's no way.
Oh man, where did he come from?
That's crazy, bro.
No, because you're saying that, and I'm just like, dude, what's 50 Shades of Grey, dude?
Yeah, bro.
Except every woman's fantasy.
50 Shades of Sharia, bro. Too much, baby. But
it's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
50 Shades would be bid'ah, bro. But no, I get it, dude. I get
they
it.
have that misconception, is what I'm trying to say.
100%. And I think what's really interesting is the way the world has been getting exposed. You know what I mean? Because it's like, they'll be like, oh, you know, this one obviously is very upsetting. But like, they'll be like, oh, your prophet married a 9-year-old or whatever.
Yeah.
I just thought so. And then we're just like, okay, well, one, you don't know the details of that situation, right? Don't be too quick to turn it into what your people are known to be doing.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Don't go and point the finger when you guys have way more skeletons hiding in your own closet. You know what I mean? And it's not like, oh, you know, the discovery about, like, you know, the priests 20, 30 years ago. No, it's just like, I heard something about it last week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Don't
go flipping taking the high ground, trying to point down at us.
True.
Look at the flipping.
Look at P. Diddy. Look at Epstein.
Look at the all 100%. Look at how they're all getting exposed on the daily.
And look, it's Bill Clinton. It's this person. It's that politician. It's the king of that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So it all comes from a place of insecurity. So that's why I don't even get phased. I don't even get
You know what
phased.
the BS thing about it?
Huh?
There's many types of Bibles out there, right?
Right.
But the King James version
Mhm.
is like the Bible for the most part. Many Christians are like, that's my Bible.
Uh-huh.
How many wives did King James have?
I have no idea how many.
Many.
Really?
Bro, it was more than the Prophet ﷺ by multiples. You feel me?
Yeah.
The majority of them weren't 18 and above.
Oh, that's nuts. That's nuts.
You get what I'm trying to say?
I totally get it.
And this is the guy that compiled your Bible that you're reading.
Yeah, that's wild.
So don't go that far, Bubba.
100%. So something I wanted to add on, because it's important to add this on, right? The Sharia says that the purpose of a woman in a man's life is to sleep with him. Whoa, crazy.
We did get pretty far. I'm thinking about it.
Listen, it's very important to recognize that what the Sharia teaches
There's knowledge.
is the kind of like the baseline of expectations.
And let's clear up the misconception as well.
Let me get to it. So it's the baseline.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You learn the Sharia, you literally are learning the bare bones of the faith. You know what I'm saying? But then once you start learning the Sunnah, you learn about how a man is supposed to, like how the Rasul used to like treat his wives, you know what I mean? With kindness and respect, and he never put his hands on them. And you know what I mean? Like, and then you learn, within the ahadith about like, same thing. And then you learn about so many other levels of Islam that they complete the image of what a man is to a woman, what a woman is to her man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It completes the image. But when you look at the bare bone, which is just the Sharia, it's totally easy to get things a little twisted. You know what I'm saying? But you have to take into consideration that there's more to Islam than just the Sharia. You have to go above and beyond in your learning, learn from the Quran, learn from the Sunnah, learn from the Ahadith to understand how to fulfill your position as a spouse in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say?
The misconception of, well, in Islam, all you think about is just women having sex. That's all that they're good for.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case. As you said, that's like the bare minimum. That's the bare bone, right?
Yeah.
It's a valid question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people might ask, what happens if they want to pursue a career? It's valid. Do it.
Yeah.
What happens if they want to hobbies or this or that or something else, man? They want to contribute to society. They're not only going to be at the house just for that one reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If they have a purpose and they're very passionate about it, as a husband, I could speak only for myself.
Yeah.
If she wants to continue on her career, go ahead. If that's going to bring you fulfillment, if that's going to make you happy, continue.
Yeah.
Go on. If you want to take up a hobby, go on and do it.
Yeah, because like as long as she fulfills that one duty,
Of course, as long as it's beneficial, like to her, it's not like she's like something.
Well, I mean,
that's
what's interesting,
detriment to her.
Well, yeah, of course, but like, don't do drugs. But what I'm trying to get at is like, dude, she literally like, she fulfills that one duty for her husband. Cool. That's all that's expected from her. She has no other expectations. She has no other fulfillments that she needs to complete. She has no other tasks for her husband, for her family.
Yeah.
Which means she has all the time in the world to do whatever the heck she wants. Absolutely. Except, obviously, the things that, forget her own detriment, but like, except the things, she's not allowed to do the things that are like displeasing to Allah. You know what I mean? She can't be like, oh, you said I can do whatever I want. I'm going to go on a girls trip to Mykonos. It's like, no, you're not. Nice try. It's not working.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's always an interesting topic to talk about because none of us are married.
Yeah.
But yet again, like we also have expectations. Yeah, Islamically, we talked about the husband does this, the husband does that, all really the wife from the Islamic perspective.
Right.
And I won't lie, man. I do want my wife I do want my wife to cook. I do want my wife to clean.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm going to be cooking at times as well. I'm going to be helping out to clean as well. You know?
I'm phenomenal at breakfast.
You definitely are. I could definitely agree on that.
Yeah.
You freaking, you're
I'll cook up. I'll whip up some breakfast from time to time. I ain't tripping.
Breakfast on you, bro.
For sure.
For sure.
You should have said, oh, I didn't send you the snap. Oh, today I made some gas sandwiches.
Really?
Gas. And yesterday. Gas.
There you go.
Gas.
You're already getting
gas.
You're already getting ready for marriage, bro.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for flipping another 4 years of Biden's gas.
There are expectations. There are expectations when it comes down to marriage, bro.
Yes.
So like,
yes.
It, just because this, like, of course, the Sharia says that.
Mm-hmm.
Do many men not have that expectations? They do. They do have that expectation of like, hey, look, I'm gonna be the breadwinner.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna provide you with all of the ingredients in order for you to then make something, right? And the means of the shelter, of the gas, the stove, the pot, gas, everything that comes together to make that. You know, and from a personal thing, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's very fair. And of course, many other people, regardless of whether you're Muslim or not, I feel like you can agree on this too.
No, I always like to put it in that perspective. Like I was explaining earlier with like the team player, right? The family unit, the team player. I always like to put it in that perspective because it's a very rational, logical perspective, you know? What bothers me the most is like, I feel like I got this a lot from my mom, where it was like, because you go out all day and you don't come back until way later, she doesn't see what you're doing. So it's hard for her to consider he's been working hard all day. All she knows is you left and you came back later.
Yeah.
She didn't see the work you went through. She didn't see the stress you went through. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like there was a lot of times where it's like, you know, you come home and your mom just immediately lays down a bunch of demands. And you're like,
I need a second to breathe.
I'm about to explode. You know what I mean? Like, I'm about to lose my edge. For real, you know? And so I think it's very, very just, it's safe to take into consideration, like, dude, if I'm going to go out all day and you're going to be home all day, right? I'm going to take care of what needs to be taken care of out there. Just do your part as a team player and take care of what needs to be taken care of in here.
Fair.
You know? So it's a very logical, very rational way to look at it. You're going to do nothing. Ta-da. You're going to pay nothing. Ta-da. Right?
But you don't look at your mom and be like, hey.
No, I don't. My mom, to be honest with you, like, you know, I'll admit that, like, you know, I've had a couple of, like, you know, moments where I'm like, you know, but it's just like, when it comes down to my mom, no, I don't lay demands. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I'm trying to say. You're not looking at your mom like, why aren't you paying anything for the bills?
100%.
Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? It's like, dude.
You know,
no, that's simply not it. But based on the shit, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not pulling any of that stuff off.
100%.
I mean, it's always interesting, man, because look, a lot of Muslims too, we don't even know our own Sharia.
Facts.
And that's kind of scary. And I could be one of those people, I don't know the Sharia, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell you exactly what the Sharia says about every single thing. We have an idea just because of like what we've been exposed to and
right.
like learned throughout our years.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, I mean, it's elementary almost.
100%. It is elementary. And the scary thing is like, sure, like I've studied it cover to cover once. What on earth do I remember?
Yeah, if you
know what I mean?
Lose it.
100%. And it's like, you cover the base level, then you have to expand on that over and over and over again. And so it's just like, yeah, we definitely don't know anything. You know, most of our Islam comes from what I saw Ammo doing, what I saw my dad doing.
Yep.
You know, and that's why you have so many people like, they'll come up to you in the masjid and they'll be like, oh, you're praying wrong. And you're like, this is what I've known my whole life. Oh, you're doing wudu wrong. It's like, uncle, go away. Like, please. You know? So we definitely do have to take time just to educate ourselves.
Yeah. It's always fun, man. Going to the masjid and then someone is just checking you up on something that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Be open to it. Because even at the heat of the moment, you're like, focus on yourself, fam.
Right.
But let's assume that he's right.
Yeah.
Right? One thing that happened to me a couple months ago was, you know, when I pray, I don't like You know what I'm saying? When I'm sitting,
Right. Your feet are straight.
my feet are like straight, or like I'm on my, almost like on my toes. Or I'm sitting on my toes, basically.
I don't know how you do that, but yeah.
I don't know how you guys do it the regular way, right? I don't know.
Listen, I've accepted that we just don't get it, but I don't get it, dude.
Neither do I.
It looks nuts.
You don't think I tried that, bro? Where it's just like, where like one foot is kind of under, the other one's just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've tried that, bro.
Like your toes literally can't point back.
I mean, they can, but after like 2 seconds, they're about to snap. Like they're not comfortable. They're not in a nice position where it's like, they're whatever. I'm praying, and then out of nowhere, it's like a quick sunnah prayer. I give my salams, and out of nowhere, the guy taps me back as Jum'ah, right? He taps me, brother, don't sit like that. I'm like, brother, I'll try. That's all it was.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I sit like that?
Right.
Is it actual, like, now I'm curious. I'm not even trying to be defensive. Is it actually haram? Right? So what I'm trying to say, though, if you're going to correct me, tell me why I'm wrong. Give me the reasons why I'm wrong and back it up.
Yeah.
Then I'll be like, I messed up.
Thank you for teaching me.
Thank you. I'll thank you, man.
Right.
But the guy was like, don't do that. I'm like, why? He's like, just don't do that. I'm like,
good talk.
Yeah. All right, man.
So, I mean, it actually is very interesting because it's very, very strict on the idea on like of how your foot positioning is, and that your toes need to be pointing forward because you curls yours back.
Yeah.
So it actually is a very strict rule. But not once again, it's not like we talked about this, but like in Islam, we know there's a lot of situations in which, like, when it comes down to what the expectations are, if you have a very specific condition or scenario or whatever, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Like, you can't expect that just because of your foot position, Allah's going to be petty on the Day of Judgment and not accept your prayers. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't think of Allah that way, you know? He understands your condition more than you.
Yeah.
Right? Then we can open up the conversation of like, oh, well, maybe if you put in effort to make your ankles flexible.
I was gonna say something like, not something down that line. I was gonna say something.
You can still try.
Of like, yeah, I can try.
Right.
I can try to find specific like positioning in order for me to feel a little bit better and more comfortable. But there's no way right now, if I was to go into the recommended position,
it would just hurt.
I mean, I would be leaning forward though.
Yeah.
There's no way. I've tried it, bro, but I haven't tried it enough, bro.
For sure.
But yeah, man, that's
a good talk, dude.
That's a freaking girls off
fly, dude.
That was solid, bro.
Definitely was.
So, moral of the story, bro. What was the takeaway of everything?
We didn't even talk about second wives. But the takeaway of everything is basically, marriage is a very serious obligation, and both people, they need to understand what their expectations are.
Yeah.
And not let their emotions misguide their direction.
Easy to say.
It is. But that's the that I think is the number one thing why a lot of people are just miserable in their marriage. You know?
I don't
get petty, they get emotional, they slack on their duties.
Here's the issue, bro. I don't think marriage is logical. I think marriage is emotional. Because you're going to try to be as logical as possible, but when emotions, especially deep emotions like your spouse, right? Person that you're intimate with, person that you share kids with and so on, I feel like the logic eventually just kind of gets out the window.
Right. It gets hard to maintain the logic. I recognize.
And I understand why many people get petty, why many people start just slacking eventually. They start getting in their head that, like, I'm not enough. Does my spouse still love me? You know? Is she looking at other insecurities? Really, it's because of
Right.
stupidity, right? Even though she doesn't really give you any sign, or you didn't give your wife any sign.
Yeah.
But it's just because of how I interpret how you might be feeling, you meaning like my wife.
Right.
I'm gonna make a major adjustment, a negative adjustment in my attitude towards you, to the point where you're gonna realize that, and then you're gonna notice, and then eventually you're like, oh, what's wrong with him? Is there something that I did to him? And now both of you guys are just like,
You know what's really funny is you actually explained that so well, even though it sounded like you just said a bunch of nothing. Like if you go back and listen to the way you said it, like it's not like clear, but I 100% get what you're saying. It was nuts.
you know,
Yeah.
that's scary, bro.
It is very scary.
I'll leave with this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had a customer today at the market, and you know, she's a repeat customer, and she's told me that, like, apparently when you sell hummus, bro, you're basically also not only a sales rep, but you're a therapist.
You're a family therapist.
You know?
Yeah.
So this lady's married, to her high school sweetheart.
Mm.
Everything was going well. They've been married for a while. They have 4 kids.
Wow.
The lady didn't even hit 40 yet. She's 39, right? I don't know how this got brought up in the past, but she was like, I slept with my husband a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't love my husband anymore. I'm like, have you tried to talk to him about this? Have you tried to go to marriage counseling? Have you tried to speak up? You guys try to, like, you know, get somewhere with this relationship, or are you guys just gonna be like, well, we're just gonna do this for the kids and just? She's like, I don't know, both of us don't like each other. So today she came back and we're having another conversation, right? Because she just got a new car, and I was like, oh, congrats on the car. She's like, oh, thank you. My husband doesn't like it. And it's a Porsche Macan. It's a really nice car, dude. I was like, yo, it's a freaking beautiful car. She's like, oh, she's like, I make my own money and I pay for my own car. But he was complaining and he was telling me, logical, I was completely on the husband's side, that it's going to break down eventually and it's going to be costly to repair. I was like, well, it's a European car and it's a Porsche Cayenne, so it's going to be pretty expensive. But she's
No, it's a Porsche Macan. Come on. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Good night. So she was continuing on. She was like, "No, this is my car. I paid for it. This is on me, right?" She's like, "My husband's opinion doesn't really matter."
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "Oh shoot!" And I brought it up again. I was like, "You know, are you guys still on rocks right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys' relationship? You know?" She's like, "Yeah. I mean, we just don't talk. We show this." I was like, I mean, what happens when, you know, she's like, we don't even sleep together. We share completely different beds, 2 different bedrooms. It's that bad. I was like, well, like, don't you have your natural urges to belong with someone, right? To be with someone? What happens? She's like, no, not really. You know? She's like, I don't want to give it to him because she just does not like him anymore. She's repulsed by the dude. She doesn't want to, like, you know, obviously engage with her husband.
Yeah.
Even though she may be feeling it. And the husband, I'm pretty sure as a man, is feeling it. You know, we all have these feelings. She doesn't even want to give him that. Just so she doesn't give him that satisfaction. And then she was like, her friend was telling her that she needs a best friend in her life. She looked at me, she's like, best friend. She smiled. Not like she was implying it towards me, but just to kind of be like, she needs a side.
Mm-hmm.
Someone to have fun with while she's still quote unquote married.
Yeah.
That ruined me inside, bro. That was so sad that she didn't ask me to be her best friend, bro. And just like that was another exciting episode of King of Average.
No, well, to close out, because that was a good way, funny way to finish it. But to close out,
That's so sad, bro.
it is honestly, I would say probably my biggest fear. One of my biggest fears in life. You know? And you want to know what the solution is? Tune in next week to find out why men should have multiple wives. That's another episode of the King of Average podcast, baby, with your boy BB along with
Malik.
We're signing off. Peace.